you guys today? Do you have anything cooked up for today? Do you have anything for the upcoming week? Because we do have the Lunar New Year quickly approaching, and next Sunday, wow, a week from today, in bulk. Like we are going to be halfway between winter and spring, and I couldn't be happier. Not that it's been a very cold winter here, I guess. We had colder, especially like 2 years ago when we were under like a foot of snow until April. That was intense. Probably more intense because I didn't have any heat during that time, and so I just like bundled up. It's like when your clothes just never get dry and it's freezing. It's like 6 degrees outside. I would wake up and there'd be ice on my eyelashes, like 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 they'd be frozen together. I was like, something is wrong. But you know what? We have heat this year and it's really not that cold. It's been in like the 30s, 40s. It's not too bad. I mean, if I was fresh out of San Diego, I would be like, it's damn cold. But I've kind of acclimated. My blood's a little thin. Anyway, hey, Susie is here. What's up? My mighty, mighty moderators are here in the house. Lisa, what is up? Susie's like, you always make the best thumbnails. Well, thank you. Thank you. I thought we'd get all serpenty with it since we are going into the year of the snake. And by the way, I put out a poll every Thursday. It's on my YouTube channel page. I also give that same poll to my YouTube members and Patreon so that technically they get extra votes on what you want to see during the Sunday live chat. And it looked like it was pretty much unanimous. I mean, there was a few votes here and there for some other things, but across Patreon, YouTube, and my subscribers, everybody wanted to work with snake magic today, snake energy. So I'm so excited for that. So I thought I'd do a little snaky thumbnail. I thought I'd bust out some of my most snaky jewelry. Actually, these earrings were made by James's sister, who is so freaking talented. I hope she continues to make stuff like that and maybe actually sell them. But I also have this necklace that my one of my good friends that I used to run track with back in college, he got this for me one year for Christmas. But yeah, it's the Triskiel, but it has like a serpent in it, which is kind of cool. And of course, I got Cobra Kai going on because, strike first, strike fast, And then I have, of course, my Viper mug. I figured that would come in handy today. So we're just getting all kinds of snaky. Mike Green, hello, you made it, my friend. He says hello from England. Lisa said, hi, Mike from Chile, Southeast England. Ooh. And Lily is here. What's up? Susie says, raining here. First real rain this year and colder, but not complaining. And Lady Night is here. What's up? Yeah, we are supposed to get a dusting of snow on Wednesday. Even though I'm like enjoying this kind of warmer, very odd, apparently winter that we have up here in the mountains, all the people are like, where's the snow? Because we have all 4 seasons up here and it's like we're missing the season. I mean, it's cold, but there's no snow. And we really didn't have a monsoon season either for summertime. So it's been really dry up here. I mean, even in the valley, where it's more like your actual like desert type landscape, with the saguaro cactus and everything, even they didn't really have much of a monsoon season. And so they didn't get much rain either. And, even though places like that, might be considered the desert, they still rely very heavily, all the plants, all the people, all the animals rely very heavily on what precipitation they do get. And so up here in the mountains, we get monsoons and then we also get snow, lots of snow. So that way when the snow melts, it feeds literally the entire forest. And so the forest has been, I can tell when I go on hikes, some of the nettles on the junipers are turning brown. I notice the like berry production, everybody's like kind of like pulling back and things like that. So the animals that I have up here when I run the creek, like they're all like waiting for me every morning. The birds are literally doing a dance on the roof of the RV, but they're like, water, water. So yeah, they're over there. They're taking their little birdie baths. Even the chipmunk was waiting out here this morning. But yeah, I throw out like bird seed every morning, and I run the creek for several hours, most of the day. So that way they can take their little baths, they can have some water, they can feed their children, and it pools up around a lot of the trees. That the creek is actually something that James had built. So, I think they're very appreciative. Susie's saying, Maria, good to see you. And Lisa says, hello, peeps joining the chat. Hello, hello. Janine is here. Hello. Aleatorio, hello, hello. This is Go Water. All right. So, okay. So first things first, I always like to do our weekly reading. So we'll do our little week ahead reading, which will encompass, like I said, the Lunar New Year, all that good stuff. And by the way, according to Tzolk'in calendar, which, is the Mayan calendar, and it's based more on the 260-day cycle of Venus, their New Year not quite aligned with the Lunar New Year, but somewhere kind of between February and March is kind of when they see the new year happening. And I guess it depends on which day keepers you're speaking to in which parts of the world. Like if you are, in Guatemala, you might be celebrating that Tzolk'in calendar New Year more towards March. And I know that there are many other cultures that celebrate that New Year in March, but we are going into a 13 Ich year. And so 13 is like the highest number, one of the most magical and transformational numbers, just like snake energy. And we're ending a 13-year cycle. So this is a great time to reflect on, the past 13 years. What's happened in these past 13 years for you guys individually, for us as a collective? And we pair that with the Ich energy. So basically, everybody who's born in 1981, this is our year. You were born under the year of Ich, depending, I guess, on the month you were born. So everybody basically February through almost February of the next year, you would have been an Ich year. So 81 to 82. And then, of course, there are other years that would be under an Ich year, but I know that one personally because I am a 1981 child. But basically, the year lords, they rotate every 4 years. There's 4 year lords, and then they take turns every year. So anyway, so Ich is known as the winds of change. You might even say that is much like snake energy, where snakes might be seen as something more drastic or maybe something more healing, depending on the culture, depending on the story. They might be seen as something that is evil or something that is, benign and good. But the same could be said for Ich when we think of the wind. And actually, it is a windy day, which is why I'm indoors today. We might see the wind as like, this is great. It helps to spread the seeds. It helps to, pollinate many plants that need that wind energy to help them to pollinate. Or we might say the wind is bad. It blew over some stuff. It broke things. So all depends on perspective, and it all depends on your energy towards it. But I will get more into 13 Ich when we get closer to 13 Ich. But I wanted to bring it up because I thought that it was interesting that according to the Tzolk'in calendar, that 13 Ich year is so much like the Lunar New Year of being the year of the snake. So I was like, hey, I like when all these like astrologies and years and different calendars kind of line up in that way. I think it's pretty cool. Susie says 13 and very psychic. Yay! Yes, it is a highly psychic number. Mike says, I'm so glad to be with you all today. We are glad to be with you, my friend. Everybody throwing up the hands. Susie says, Mike, glad you are here too. She says, I love that. Maria said, I'm kind of starting over after a 13-year story that was very challenging. Wow. I mean, yeah. A lot of us, I think, have gone through some major ups and downs in the past 13 years. But I really feel that, maybe this first part of 2025 might feel maybe still a little difficult for some people, but I feel we're really clearing stuff out. Like it really is the ending of things, for a new beginning. Just like, many, there's actually a Roman philosopher that says, every was it every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And yes, it was part of a song, back in the day, a 90s song, Closing Time. But those weren't like their lyrics. They actually took that from an actual famous quote. But yeah, just like the Ouroboros, it's a continual cycle. And I feel like things sometimes feel really difficult at the end of a cycle because it's like getting ready for some newness. So we got to clear out some things. So it might be highly uncomfortable. It might be, stressful. We might feel anxious, but it's not going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. We know that. Gaia knows that. And we'll eventually transform into a newer version of ourselves, a newer reality. But we've created all of that, and so I'm very positive, for what lies ahead of us this year and the years to follow. Yeah, super excited. Okay. Before we dive into this weekly reading, I do encourage you guys to bust out your own decks, maybe center yourself if you're going to channel some messages for us, which maybe you're going to bust out your pendulum. But hey, let me know what you're working with. If you're just working with your good old fashioned intuition, that's fantastic. Let me know if you're going to utilize that intuition with your tarot cards or your pendulums or whatever, your runes, then let me know what you're working with, especially the decks that you're working with. And I have to show you 2 new decks that came in that I backed on Kickstarter last year, and I'm so glad they finally arrived. I have to show you. But I do want to give a shout out, of course, to my mighty, mighty moderators. I love you guys. And you guys know who they are because they wield the wrench of destiny. It's literally a little wrench right next to their name, but it is the wrench of destiny. And I want to thank all of my subscribers, all 10,700 now, something of you. So yay! And thank you to my YouTube members as well. Kayla, Nancy, Astrid, Jolene. Hey, love you guys. And my Patreon homies, love you all as well. Lily and Dana, Jamie, Kayla, Surian, Brandy, Jason, Brian, Karen, Sarah, Paulu, Crystal, Easy Does It, Oz, Joel, Mikey, Casey Gritter, and Stancio. Love you all so much. And to all of the people who have emailed me via Patreon or just, my email address, who have wanted to become guest interviewers for the channeling series. I think this is great. If you guys don't know, the past 3 channeling videos have been with guest interviewers. This is giving the community a chance to ask the questions. We're all on different journeys. We all have different perspectives, different backgrounds, different beliefs. How wonderful it is to get those varied beliefs and questions asked of these entities that also have different perspectives and different beliefs. If you ask a gray a question and you ask that same question to an Arcturian or to a Pleiadian or to my higher self or, whatever it may be, you're going to get a different answer because there's different perspectives. So I think it's beautiful that the people asking questions also have different perspectives. And now don't get me wrong, I believe that James had asked some wonderful questions. He's so good at asking questions, coming up with questions I can never even dream of. But also, I think it's really good to include the community as well. So I will be kind of separating the playlist. So those of you that want to view all of the channelings that I did with James, that will be on its own playlist. And then I'm going to start just creating a playlist of our community channeling. So with all of our guest interviewers, so you guys can see those as well. So yay, I'm so excited about that. Mike says, you have a great memory. Well, thank you. Thank you. Lisa is using the good old RWS today. Well, I love that, girlfriend. And Susie's saying, congratulations to Maria as well, because she says, I'm celebrating the new period with a home makeover, lots of renovations. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Congratulations. I love home makeovers. I feel like, even just like rearranging the energy in our physical space just is so symbolic of the energy that we've been rearranging within ourselves and clearing up our own inner space. So I think that's awesome. And Susie says, I just pulled, just before the live, adjacent possibilities from the energy oracle deck. Keeps coming up for me. Good sign, I think. Yes, adjacent possibilities. I love that too. Very good. Lily, what's up? She says, good day, everyone. I hope all is well. Missed y'all. Been busy with my grandson. He's a handful. Aw, well, we're happy to have you. And well, hopefully your grandson's running around now, running around here. Okay, so I want to show you the decks that I'm going to be working with this week, but it's also the decks that I backed on Kickstarter. So I love Monica Ann's work. She is a fellow Pinoy, Filipina, and I will always, back decks from, my fellow Pinoy. So I backed, what was it before, the Pinoy Practical Magic Tarot, and that is by Chingay Labrador. So definitely go check it out. She also has an herbal like oracle deck, and that is the 10, I forget, Tannin? Yeah, that's the Tannin Oracle. So definitely go check that out as well. But over on Instagram, you could go check out Monica Ann, and she's at Soft Babe Bloom. So if you want to know her Instagram handle, go check out her decks. It is right there. But I backed the Kilig Oracle, and I also backed her Love Messages menu. So I got the two in conjunction. So you're probably wondering, what is Kilig? So Kilig is like, even she says there's no real like translation in English. It is Tagalog. So it's like the feeling that you get when you're like in like romantic feelings, like the first like butterflies type feelings, like, oh, newness, I'm in love. That would be Kilig. You'd say, I'm in Kilig, or he is feeling Kilig or she is feeling Kilig. So this deck is kind of based off of that kind of love, first love, butterflies. Oh my gosh, we're back in high school, kind of feelings. So that's the deck I'm going to be working with today. But yeah, here's the box. Maybe I have to do a review on this deck. If you guys want me to do a review, let me know. I am in the process of reviewing the Council of Horses Oracle, and including some actual horse footage for that deck. So I think that's going to be a fun video too. Let me get these cards out. And this is just the Love Messages menu. Susie said, please do. All right, I will. Okay, so here are the back of her cards, and check this out. Holographic edging. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, these are freaking just gorgeous. Yeah, I can't wait to do a review on this deck. But yeah, that's what we're going to do for our weekly reading. I'm going to be utilizing this deck. Here's the Love Messages menu. It's a circular deck and has different foods on here and drinks and desserts and things like that. But on the back, it has a little message. Oops. Okay, well, yeah, they're round, so they're kind of like all over the place. But yeah, this is really fun. And also, she has a QR code that you can use to download to see how you can use this, not only as like an oracle deck, but you can use it as a drinking game or food preparation game. Doesn't always have to be drinking. You could be drinking soda pop for all I know. But anyway, so basically you would pull one of the cards, like let's say you pull pasta. It says, I'm afraid of losing you, but you pull pasta and there's like a menu and you find the pasta card and there's a question that goes with it. And so it's like truth or dare basically. So if the person ends up answering the question, they don't have to take a drink, but if they don't answer the question, of course, they would take a drink. Or if you're not into like that, she says you can use like a point scale. So, you know, just like if they don't if they don't answer the question, you know, they give themselves a point, or you give yourselves a point, whatever. And then the person with the most amount of points either has to make a delicious meal for their partner, or they have to go out and go to a restaurant or buy whatever it is their favorite food is. So it's fun. You know, I like when there's other ways, you know, that people utilize decks and things like that. So okay, so let's go back here. Lisa says, I pulled the Knight of Wands with the Three of Wands. I think it is showing the contrast between impulse, challenge, and mission, making plans forward-looking and planning. All right, I love that. Love it. John, hey, what's up? He's like, hello, beautiful people. Janine, hey, all right. So Janine, after our weekly reading, I will definitely pull a card for you. Yay! And Lady Knight said, love the pastel color. Me too. I'm like, you know, it reminds me of like the 90s when I was like super into like Lisa Frank, you know, and Trapper Keepers and all of that, all the cool like neon mixed with pastel colors. And yeah, it just brings me back to my childhood. Knowledge Harvester, am I a Lyran Starseed? Well, you know, we could definitely, like I said, we'll do super chats and super stickers. So if you're wanting to ask questions, we could definitely do that after the weekly reading. But I encourage you to jump in on the weekly reading with us. So if you have a deck or you just want to tap into your intuition and pull down some messages for the week with us, I would be more than happy for you to join in. Susie says, for later, thinking of you, Silver Star Priestess. Hey! Yes, and Susie was letting people know that, yes, I will be doing super chats and super stickers a little bit later on. Janine says, hi to the sparkling Susie. Hope you are well. Yay! Okay, so let's pull our cards for this week. What do we have going on this week, my friends? All kinds of energies abound. Okay. And then I want to pull a little food card. I think the cows are outside. I'm like, who's mooing? Yeah. The cows have been coming up this way lately. So if a cow walks by in the background, I'm gonna have to be like, sir, you have to go back down to the pasture. Okay. We have repair, healing, renewal, rebuilding. And I love that picture. So beautiful. And then our love menu message, we have appetizer. I need more of you. Oh, sorry, I need more from you. Okay, so we have repair and then we have the appetizer. How delicious. Okay, so let's dive into this. Okay, so it feels like we've kind of been like, you know, it feels like a stop and go since the beginning of the new year. And I can't believe that this upcoming week is the last week of January of the very first, you know, month of 2025. It feels like, wow, like didn't the new year like just start and we're already ending the first month, you know, going into February. And so, you know, we may be feeling like on a logical level, it's like, oh, wow, oh my gosh, time is flying by so fast. I have to get this done and this done. And, you know, and then, oh my gosh, I had like New Year's goals and, you know, things that I wanted to do. And it's like this like rushing feeling where at the same time, you know, some of the energy people have been feeling, people have been really like exhausted and worn out and just like, man, I feel like I have so much to do, but I'm also so tired. And now I feel overwhelmed. And it's like, am I lazy? Am I procrastinating? What am I doing? And so it feels just like many of us, I'm not talking about all of us, but many of us been feeling this kind of conflicting energy within ourselves. And, you know, it's only been, you know, the first few weeks of the year. of like, should I be like all like go, go, go speed racer right now? Or should I be like chillaxing Zen freaking Buddha right now? Like what am I supposed to be doing? And it's trying to seek that balance. So this week, the suggestion, remember you have free will. So you guys do whatever it is that you feel like doing, you know, whatever your intuition is guiding you with. But it really feels like this week to allow yourselves to take a rest. Yes, I know that there are a lot of things that we want to get done. I know that we may feel like we're behind, you know, we might have some FOMO going on. But if you allow yourself just this time to reflect on what you've already accomplished, reflect on how you're feeling at the moment, how's your body feeling, how are you feeling emotionally, how are you feeling spiritually, you know, and physically, you know, how are you feeling? And just taking a look at that so that you can assess, okay, now that I have all of that information, what do I want to do next moving forward? Because, you know, if we're taking a reflection and let's say the physical body is just tired, it is worn out, I feel worn out emotionally, I feel worn out spiritually, then probably this is not the week to run a marathon. This is probably not the week to go build a house, you know, or the following week. So definitely take a check-in this week. How are you feeling? Then we know what to do moving forward. But sometimes our logic takes over and we decide, you know, I don't have time to check in with my emotions, with my spirituality, with my physical body. And it's just like, go, go, go. I need to do this now because this time on the calendar says I have to do this. Well, you know, time doesn't exist. Sure, in the third dimension, it exists in a linear fashion, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't exist. In any spirit I've ever spoken to, you know, any loved one I've ever connected with in people's readings, any being really, you know, doesn't even have to be like a 4D being, but any being, you know, ET or not, they've all said that, you know, in that time doesn't exist, there's so much outside of our physical realm that means so much more. It's the interactions, it's how we feel. It's that moment when we have an aha or we grow with one another. We come in contact with somebody and it feels like, oh my gosh, I've known this person my whole life. Those are the things that many of like the spirits take with them when they move on, you know, from this plane of existence. You know, they take all their memories with them. They take all the love with them. They take all the experiences with them. What they don't take with them is their jobs, their to-do lists, their frustrations, their anxieties, you know, all the things that we feel really weighed down with in the 3D. So I know, like I said, we're not all just spirit yet. We do have a 3D body. We do live in a 3D world. So this is just about striking that balance. How can I have balance between understanding I have things to do here in this world, but also just savoring those feelings, savoring those connections, savoring those emotions and experiences. And so this week, you know, with the message is just allow yourself that time to savor, to feel into things, and then decide what you want to do next, you know? So it's not just, let's just sit with things forever. And I'm not saying go, go, go forever, but this is that happy medium. That is that middle path. Have a little check-in, see how you feel, then decide with that information what you're going to do moving forward this week, the next week, who knows, for the rest of the year. So I like that. Thank you, Monica. And you make some freaking amazing decks. And I do have my eye on like a couple of her other decks that are a little older. I think one of them's discontinued and I'm like, darn. But anyway, so yeah, definitely check those out. Okay, so let's see what your messages were. Oh, wow. We missed some things here. Thank you, Lily. So don't forget to like the live to help the algorithm. Thank you, thank you. Knowledge Harvester coming in with the Dosido 22. Everybody's saying crazy. Knowledge Harvester says, I can't tap into myself and I can't channel my soul. I have tried hard and yet I don't know myself if I'm leering or anything. It's so sad. Well, you know, I think it's just a practice over time. Eventually we do tap into that. And although some people may say, like I'm a star seed, or I'm, like I would say I'm a blue avian, or I'm Lyran. Technically, it's just an aspect of our soul. It's not our complete soul. Our complete soul is the all. It is source energy. So these would be just tapping into the different aspects of the self. But I do understand, wanting to see those different aspects and understand them. And so, yeah, I mean, we could definitely do that. I'm like I said, we do have super chats and super stickers today, but I would definitely encourage you to continue practicing on your own. And I think it starts with, at least for me personally, just kind of like how I even started channeling in the first place, is I just developed a really good meditation practice. And it took me a long time, to really find a good meditation practice for me, because I have like a little Gemini brain. I'm constantly thinking, my wheels are constantly spinning. So it was really hard for me to get settled into a place. So what really helped me was guided meditations. And actually on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist of guided meditations, if that helps you. And eventually, you might move away from the guided meditations and just start finding, stillness within yourself. And it's not about having your brain go blank, but it's just about allowing whatever information is coming in to acknowledge it without overthinking it, if that makes sense. But it's definitely a practice that took me many years, but I didn't give up. I kept going at it. So I highly encourage you to, keep trying, keep going at it, because you are a soul as well. We're all souls. We're all energy, which means that we all have the same ability. It's just practicing. That's all it is. It's a practice. That's why we call it a practice. Although sometimes I wonder when doctors call it a practice, because I'm like, whoa, you're practicing on me, dude. But anyway, John says, and happy Lunar New Year this week. Yes. Angela Hutchkins is here. Hello. And Mike was saying, yes, to chill out. This is the chill week. Knowledge Harvester said, this was one strong message. That's literally me. Although I have accomplished so much last year, I still want more and more. We all should chill out for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I know that's easier said than done. I myself am a little busy bee. I like to like go. And sometimes I need to be like, yo, little Tarita, we need to chill out. David is here. He says, aloha, everyone. Aloha. How are you? Mike says, one day at a time for me. Angela said, exactly. Everybody's spreading the blessings around. Oh, Knowledge Harvester, you are very sweet. David said, we are blessed. And Lisa says, I drew the 4 of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles balance. Like you say, Tara, more opposites here. Yes, definitely. David says, I'm a Leo healer and then some. Oh, wow. Okay. Putting out that Leonian energy. I love it. Susie says, I have the same thing all the time. Sometimes I have to turn it off. All right. Mike is going to go to bed now. You have a great week, Mike, and have sweet dreams. Have fun in the astral. Hey, Patrick is here. Magic Universe. What is up, my friend? Mike, you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sleep. Lily says, do you have any advice for meditation practices for people like me with lack of visualization? Yes, actually. So oftentimes, like with me, I'm a highly visual person, which is why like my strongest, you could say, clair back in the day was just my clairvoyance. I could just see things, but I know people have different types of clairs. So think about how you intuit the world. So maybe you're not very visual when you intuit the world. You could feel into the world. You might be more of a feeling person. For some people, it's the sense of smell really like takes them back places. So I would say utilize your other senses when doing meditation. So, if somebody's saying, you get into the pose and, you start visualizing a flower. If visualization isn't your thing, I would say to utilize different scents during your meditation. So if you're a scent oriented person, but like I said, play around with all your different, senses. But let's say scent was more of your thing. And you're playing, if you're like burning like a rose scent, that could help your meditation. So it's not so much what you're seeing during your meditation, but how you feel, what it's taking you back to, what's coming up for you when you smell that rose during your meditation. So definitely try out things like that. If you're more of a feeling type person, bring in things that you could feel, physically feel during your meditations. Maybe it's something, got my little snake guy here. It doesn't really look like a snake. He's like a worm. But anyway, this is Stevie Snake. So you could bring in like something soft. So during your meditation, just like feeling the softness, or maybe something bumpy or something, that you could definitely feel. You could have the heater going so it feels warm in there, or maybe make it cool. But play around with your different senses. Sound, if you want to play music during your meditation, just kind of go into what's coming up for you during that meditation. Might not be visual, but you might be feeling into stuff. So hopefully that helps. Janine said, sacred mothers and goddesses got Demeter. Ooh, hope, healer of emotions and constant change. This is about transitions and homecoming. Even the hardest winters will be followed by spring. I love that. I love that. That is beautiful. And Chandru, hello. How are you? Says, greetings from India. Just subscribe. Glad to share that I was gazing the 7 planets with my eyes and also saw a shooting star. Wow. Oh my gosh, that is so magical. Wow. That's right, you guys. Until basically, I think it's mid-February, we have like our basically 7 planets in the sky, but 7 if we're including the moon and all of that. And I believe Mercury is coming in really strongly. So it's like a full alignment. I'm talking about the northern, hemisphere here, but like, and at least from my perception here in Arizona in the US, Mercury is going to join the party pretty soon. And then it's going to be moon and everybody else and us too, all lined up pretty much like we're lining up our lives right now, so things might feel a little at the moment, but eventually we're getting into alignment, much like our planets. So that is beautiful. Lily said, a sense of knowing. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So for meditation, I would say work with the different senses, and then your claircognizance, which is the sense of knowing, should kind of help to awaken that. If you're bringing in the sound, or you're bringing in, something that you can feel, something that you can smell, it might start triggering during your meditations that kind of claircognizance, which is beautiful. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed recently, by the way. Thank you. David says, I subscribed and liked your channel. Much mahalos. Mahalo to you, my friend. And he said, you are beautiful. Well, thank you. You have a beautiful energy as well. And that's kind of how I see everybody. I see you guys all energetically. So many beautiful souls. Susie says, thank you all for subscribing and welcome. Janine says, if anyone wants to do a spread based on hope, she has one for you guys. Number 1, what is my heart hoping for? Number 2, what do I need to remember? Number 3, where do I need to find center and peace? And number 4, what should I focus on to move forward? I love that, Janine. I don't know. I wonder if on here we can like pin it or highlight it or something so people can like go back and see this. But hopefully, people who watch the replay, they can go back and see your questions, because that's wonderful. Knowledge Harvester says, a hummingbird came inside my room today right after I woke up and prayed to the divine. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. For me, hummingbird energy is like my ancestors coming through to speak to us. But, this could also be, gods, goddesses, divine energy just coming in. I love that. What a beautiful confirmation that, we're connected, everything that we're putting out there is being heard. So I love that. Susie says, we have such a wonderful KWT tribe here, and the more the merrier. Heck yeah. Chandra said, it's been happening in India since yesterday. So beautiful. And by the way, I one of these days, I am going to go visit India because I have so many Indian friends who are like, you need to come visit this city, you need to come over here, you need to, and I'm like, I definitely will because you have a very beautiful country. John said, wow, it makes sense that if visual meditators can use visual stimulus to induce visions, that a fellow would use sensory stimulation and so on. You've given me something else to play with. Thank you. Well, hey, some feelers. You're very welcome. Chandra said, wow, this house is so refreshing and energetic. And Lily said, okay, thank you. I'll work it into my meditations. Mike says, I'm back. I missed you all so much. Wow, that was a fast nap. Well, welcome back. Like, welcome back, Cotter. Chandra said, there was a crow that was communicating with me 4 months ago for a week. I even have a recording of that. Still wondering why was that. That's beautiful. I think that when we really start getting more in touch with our essence, like our energy, and we're more sensitive to it, that all other beings that are more sensitive to their own energy, like, animals, plants, things like that, that they're always communicating with us, but we don't always recognize it because we might not be in that frequency. So it could have been, and this is just my hypothesizing, it could have been that you were or you are now in that frequency of the animal realm, which is wonderful. Animals, plants, they all have a frequency of connection. So to be able to access that part of yourself that is also much like our animal family, I think is amazing. It's accessing another portion of you. And so for me, crows, ravens, they're very, mystical, they're transformational, they're kind of seen as like the magicians. They create so much magic, and they can also be tricksters, being shapeshifters, but more shapeshifting in a benign sense where they can create something totally different. They can be something totally different. And so that's at least the beliefs of my ancestors, Native Americans. They believe in this like magical change of like crows and ravens. And so I think that is like a message for you as well, that you have become much more of a magician, where you are accessing your own magic. And in doing that, you can access the magic in other beings, which I think is pretty cool. Chandru said, I don't know, Susie, I'm new to all of this. I was an atheist all my life until 7 months ago, where I had my spiritual awakening. Oh, wow. And I think that we all have many awakenings throughout our lives. It's like I'm constantly like waking up. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But my goodness. Oh, I did want to get back to my friend Janine. I did not forget about you. Janine did have a question, and I will be pulling you a card right now, Janine Barnes, and she wanted to know how she can invite in more healing and vitality to her life. So we're going to pull a card for you right now with my brand new deck. And you know what? Because I think they go so well together, I'm just gonna pull the two cards in tandem. So here we go. Okay, so before I pull a card, Janine, I was seeing, I don't know if this is something that you actually did, or maybe this is just a representation of childhood, but I was seeing like a little girl and she's got a Band-Aid on her knee, but I see like the little girl like sitting down and like peeling open the Band-Aid and like taking a look at like the boo-boo as little kids do, where it's like fascinating to like look at a scrape or a cut, and they might even like touch it and they're like, ow, that kind of hurts, like, but ooh, that's kind of neat. How like little kids are. And so like I just keep seeing this image of like more like a fascination with a boo-boo, with a wound, and maybe taking that into account when we go into our healing now as adults, because there might be this perception that if I'm going to do healing, like, oh, it's a painful process. It's something that, sometimes I put things off because it's too triggering at the moment, or, it's too difficult. And of course, we got to feel into things when we're ready to heal things. But if we go into it with the wonder of a child, where it's like, ooh, that's interesting, like a boo-boo, I have this pain or I have this trauma. So let's look at it with wonder and fascination. How did it get there? What does it look like? How is it affecting my life? And having that childlike wonder instead of looking at it as more like a mar on our bodies, because little kids don't look at it as like, now I got a scar. Oh no. They're never upset about it. They're just like, oh, now I have a scab to peel. Or I have something that I can like mess with. I have cool new band-aids. You know, I get to bust out my unicorn band-aids. But that's what was coming through when I was just kind of like tapping into your energy. But now let's pull a card. Ooh. And so we have cracked. It says heartbroken, discontentment, and drifting apart. So that definitely goes with, you know, what I was seeing when I was tapping into your energy is, you know, we can look at, like, you know, speaking of boo-boos, actually like scraped my knuckles on something when I was unscrewing something. So, you know, I could, as an adult, look at this and be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a little scar on my knuckle. You know, the healing process is so painful. I bump it on everything. You know, I just kind of wish it wasn't there. And that, you know, inadvertently might actually slow my healing process because I'm hyper focused on it and I'm focused on it's painful. I don't like it. It's going to leave a scar, all of that. But if I'm looking at this from like 5-year-old Tara is going like, she's like peeling open the Band-Aid and going, ooh, and like touching it out. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You know, and that might actually speed up the healing process because now I'm not putting a blockage or a barrier onto it. I'm more fascinated by what it is I'm looking at. How did I get this scrape? And, you know, how, you know, if I were to recreate that, like how would that happen? How do I make sure that doesn't happen again? But that sure is fascinating. Now I have a scab that I could peel off later, you know? So I hope that helps with maybe a new way to look at your healing, to kind of put a new spin on it, a new freshness. So basically you're doing the same things that you're doing, you know, for your own healing process, however it is that you do shadow work and meditation and things like that. But if you can go at it like a little kid, like, ooh, that's interesting. So how did that trauma get there? And if it were to get recreated today, how would it get recreated so that I know how not to recreate it? If it's still painful, why is it still painful? Why does it still hurt when I press on it? You know, and it's more that curiosity, that wonder. And so I hope that helps. Let's go back here. Lily says, oh, my grandson woke up. I'm going to leave a super chat with a question. All right. Laura, yes, you can donate for a reading. We do super chats and super stickers if you'd like. John says, I feel like awakenings are like waves. They wash over you and give you time to process. Then after some time, another one washes over you. That is a good analogy. I love that one. Yes. So Laura, there's a down at the bottom of YouTube, you should see, I think there's like a little money symbol or something, but I think that's for the super chats and super stickers. It's hard to see on my end because I'm hosting the chat, but I know my moderators can definitely help you with that as well. All right, Knowledge Harvester coming in with the 44, which, by the way, 4 is my favorite lucky number. And it's whatever you feel like donating, Laura. It's not a set amount. It's just an energy exchange, that's all. And Knowledge Harvester said 22 people watching. Hey! Chandra said, I must slowly learn how this channel works. Yeah, I mean, it's all a learning process. Janine says, I could never resist poking and picking, especially chicken pox. Dude, here. I have teeny tiny little, I mean, most people wouldn't be able to see them, but I know where my chicken pox were because I picked the scabs. In fact, I have, well, I guess you guys can't see it, but I can when I really look in the mirror. I have like a little scar right here because I had a really big chicken pox here. And I was like, ooh. But yeah, I guess you can put that in towards our energetic healing now that we do. And then Laura, yes, anybody who does super chats and super stickers, I do readings for them. I do. Lisa says super chats and stickers coming up soon for requests. All right, Laura. So let me know what your question is, and I will pull you a card. Chandru, yes, I can pull a card for you as well. Just make sure to do a super chat or super sticker. John's like, now I want pound cake. Oh, dude, why you got to mention pound cake? Now I want pound cake. Pound cake and strawberries. Two of which I have neither. Thanks, John. Knowledge Harvester says, I can't send super chats. I'm too broke. I wish you could ask about my Lyrian thing. You know what? I say we have a meditation that we do at the end of our chat today. Perhaps I can guide it more towards having us look into our aspect of our soul. I think that might be wonderful. So that way, that helps you out. Dirty Work says, good morning, y'all. I'm so late on point as always. Hugs, everyone. Same to you. And our friend Jolene in the house. Susie says, Tara's taking super chats, Chandru. No minimum or maximum energy exchange. Yes, so Laura, you are on the list. And so, yeah, just go ahead and ask your question. She says, please ask about me, Alexandra Scorpio, and Gemini Felipe, because I haven't heard anything yet and was promised to talk and meet. Okay. We will definitely pull a card on that. Donna is here. Good morning. Good morning. Dirty Work says, thanks, John. Might have to make a pound cake today. Ooh, very nice. Okay, so let's take a look at Laura's question. And let's pull a card. Okay, ask about Alexandra Scorpio and Gemini Felipe. Okay, so just kind of tapping into the energy of it first before I pull a card. It's like I was kind of seeing, I don't know if you know the movie Clueless, but you know, they were all on their little cell phones, like the old school, I believe this is like 1992 cell phones. So they're like, you know, all on their cell phones, and it just feels like so much like coordination activity, like needing to coordinate, but it's like I got to get this person on the phone, but not literally on the phone, but more like having trouble communicating, getting everybody together. So almost like playing the game telephone. So it just feels like difficulty in syncing everybody's schedules and getting all that together, because it feels like some things have come up for the people that you're trying to meet. And so just it feels like things are out of sync at the moment. But let's go ahead and pull a card. And oh, wow, Crystal is here as well. Hey, hey. All right, so we have, goodbye, and it says breakup, separation, release. And that definitely goes with that kind of like not miscommunication, because you're saying that you guys kind of like agreed to meet, but it feels like there's like a disconnect going on right now where, you know, like let's say I'm telling a friend of mine, telling my friend Sarah, like, hey, I'm going to go meet you at 7-Eleven. We're going to go get some Slurpees. But then, you know, something comes up and I got to go like clean the bathroom because that's what my mom told me to go do. Or, you know, I have to also go clean the garage. And then I forgot that I was supposed to go to the grocery store and pick up something for my brother. And, you know, by the time I look at the clock again, it's way past 2 and I was supposed to meet Sarah at 2. It's now 4 o'clock and we didn't get to meet. So it feels like that kind of energy right now where I don't think at this moment you guys are going to be able to meet up, just because it seems like some other things have come up in the meantime that have nothing to do with you. So it's not like, you know, you said something or, you know, somebody got angry about it. It was just like life got in the way, and we couldn't really meet. You know, I forgot that I had to do this, and then we didn't communicate that to the other person, and so people were kind of left hanging, which might harbor some ill feelings, if people aren't communicative about it. But I would say definitely communicate how you're feeling, and then hopefully that opens the pathway for them to also communicate, so they can actually say, oh, hey, yeah, you know what, I'm so sorry. I ended up doing this, and this. I totally didn't mean to blow you off. I'm sorry that I did. So that way we don't feel a ways about it. We're not like, oh, was that like something against me? Like you couldn't communicate that to me. But you know what? Communication is a skill, and not all of us are super skilled at communicating with one another. So I think that if you kind of initiate that communication, it will help them to be a little bit more open with their communication, so that they understand, oh, hey, like if something comes up, we should definitely let somebody know, instead of just like, hey, what happened? Things like that. All right, so let's go back here. Laura says, he's been busy. Yes, I feel like it's all my fault. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that it's anything about you. I mean, I know that sometimes we do take things personally, especially when it is about us. But I truly believe it's not about you. You said, I got mad and said I didn't want to see him. He's going to leave soon since he's a traveler. So, like I said, it just feels like, yes, perhaps these things came up, where you said something that, that you didn't want to communicate with this person. You didn't want to speak with this person. But I also feel like something has come up for this person. And yes, he might be extremely busy. He's going off to travel and things like that. But I think there's other things that came up, some like things from the past, some emotional things that have come up that perhaps, yes, maybe you were the catalyst for, but I don't believe this radio silence is really about you. So I know that might be difficult to make sense of, because you're like, well, I said this and now this is the reaction. But really the non-communication with you is more him trying to sit with some things that have come up about the past before you. So it's things that happened before he knew who you were. And really trying to sit with those and feel through those. So this might take him a little while to kind of feel into and work through. But I would say give him time. And, he's not going to be gone forever. It might be some time. I do feel like there is a time, but, of separation, but eventually being able to communicate again, and being able to communicate more clearly, like why you felt the way you did, and hopefully helping him to also communicate what came up for him because of, what occurred between the two of you. So I do feel like there's going to be some time and distance between the two of you guys for a little while, but you will eventually be able to communicate again. So it's actually really good what you did. I know it's like the light and the shadow. Like we might say something that sounds really shadowy, but the light in that is that it brought up stuff that he really needs to heal. And so he is working on that, which I think is a wonderful thing. So, we could look at the dark of the situation, but we could also look at the light of the situation. And let's see, let's go back here. You guys have been having some wonderful chit chat back and forth. And John, hey. So, John said this is for Chandru. Oh, yay. That is so sweet of you. And Chandru said, John Gross, is that for me? She said, thank you so much. Christy Ray, yes, we are doing super chats and super stickers if you want to jump on in, my friend. Chandra said, thank you, John, for doing that for me. I owe you one. Maybe a special prayer in my temple tomorrow morning when I go for my meditation. Well, that would be nice. Okay, so yeah, Chandra, just let me know what your question is via our buddy John. Thank you, thank you. Laura says she'll donate again for one more question. Sure. And then Knowledge Harvester, yes, I will get to your question as well about Lyran energy. So I did the super chat. I ain't that broke. Very, very good, my friend. And then Lily, yes, we have a question for you as well. All right. So Chandra says, what we sow, we reap. I used to donate for people in India when they could not afford to with Indian tarot readers. Universe is blessing me back. Aw, you guys are all freaking wonderful. John says, you don't owe me anything. I wouldn't offer it if I couldn't afford it today. It sounds like the loop is closing on your previous kindness. Aw. Chandra says, life has been messy since last June 13th, separation and no job. I surrendered to the universe and doing my shadow work. What is there for me this year? Okay. All right. So let's take a look at that, Chandra. Chandra, sorry. Okay. Okay. This was an interesting thing that came through, Chandru. So I, as I was tapping into your energy, I was picking up NSYNC, you know, the boy band, the like US boy band. And it's, you're tearing up my heart when I'm with you. And when we are apart, I feel it too. And no matter what I do, I feel the same with or without you. So it felt like, you know, this cycle that you're ending. And it's interesting that it was June 13th. And literally at the beginning of this chat, I was talking about the number 13, that we are actually ending a 13-year cycle. So I believe that you are also getting into like a new cycle, that Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. So you had an ending. There's this time for like awakenings happening, like growth, like all of this, these new and wonderful things, these new skills and abilities you didn't know you had or didn't even know existed. And so it's seeing yourself differently. And so the reason I believe I'm seeing NSYNC, you know, you're tearing my heart and really it's the old version of you saying that song, singing that song. It's saying, hey, but you used to be, you know, this person and we used to do this and this used to be our job. And it's like, it's the falling away of that. It's honoring that. So, you know, next time you go into meditation or you go to your temple, I would say honor the aspect of you that has served you for a long time, but it is now fading away. And so instead of saying, that's no longer me, like off with you, it's more like, thank you. Let's reflect on like all the parts of me that I used to be. And I honor that, because if I wasn't that, I couldn't be where I am now. So I thank you, former self, for all of your loves, all of your dislikes, all of your, you know, perceived, you know, failures and all of our perceived successes, all of it. I'm so grateful for all of it, but now I must release you. I must let you go, even though it's saying, but you're tearing up my heart. It's like, but you know what? You live in my heart. All aspects of ourselves live in our heart, and I honor you as I release you. So, in doing that, now let's pull a card and see what there is for you moving forward. So now I'm going to have that NSYNC song stuck in my head, but no worries. I dig it. So that's cool. Okay. All right. We have playa. This is manipulation, disloyal, and games. I don't really feel like those are the keywords I'm picking up on here, but let's tap into this. Okay. So that's why I see playa, not in the negative sense, but more in the positive sense, like playa, not like player. I was going to make a joke there, but not for YouTube. Anyway, so so with this year, what this year is offering you, because you are going into a newer version of yourself, you're still the same you, same wonderful, beautiful you, but like a leveling up. It's like if you're playing a video game and you've kind of like leveled up with some new weapons or skills, or like now you get to have the blue hair instead of the purple hair, you know, like these video games. So it's a leveling up, still the same character, but a little more enhanced, a little better, which means your frequency is different because you're tapping into these different frequencies. Like you said, you had a whole conversation with a crow. you are of a different frequency, which means all of the things that you're aligned with have to change. And that's that showing gratitude and releasing it, because it might be painful, because we're like, you know what, some of those things I liked, but you know what you are in alignment with this 2025, this year, is even better. Just like the things that you used to be aligned with when you were 10 years old, you eventually had to release when you were 17 years old. And what was available for you as a 17-year-old was so much more cool and so much better than when you were a 10-year-old. So it's the same thing now that you are an adult. You know, you're releasing some things and there might be some heartbreak with it, but that's part of the process. It's honoring it because it did serve you at a time. So it's releasing it with love, and the understanding that you have so many beautiful opportunities lined up for you this year. You really do. There's a lot of new things and a lot of things that you might be scared to try, but this is the year of adventure. This is the thrill seeker for you. So yeah, you kind of are the player this year. You are basically in the arcade. You get to play whatever game you want, because you are in a new energy, and this is to help you see yourself in a different light. The more you can see yourself differently than you used to, the more you're going to have different opportunities, different people entering your lives, meaning different adventures and more areas that you can grow in. So I see a lot of good stuff happening for you this year. Definitely, definitely, especially like career wise, like friends wise, adventure wise. Chandra said, yes, we are together for 13 years and a tower moment. I was a famous person here, meeting 100,000 students every year. Oh, wow. But yeah, you know, there are some wonderful new things coming in for you. Laura, that is definitely fine. You know, it's not about the amount of money. Trust me, it's fine. It's whatever you can personally afford. Chandra said, I understand gratitude that can take us to greater altitude. Yes, definitely. Mike says, you are a good man, John, and I agree. So Chandra says, yes, the year of adventures, that is for you, definitely. This is, by the way, for later sending prayers, Lily, for you and your daughter. Yes, definitely. So let's go back to, okay. The next super chat was Knowledge Harvester, wondering if they are Lyran. Okay. Ooh, you got a little chile in here. Come on, heater, pop back on. Or maybe I should have a little tea. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Knowledge Harvester, when I was tapping into your energy, I was seeing like I don't know how you could even describe that. It's like a lion-ish, but like neon, like with I don't know, like it's like undulating like colors, like instead of fur, it's like just like colors like moving all throughout the body. It's like the wildest thing. It's so cool. So I would definitely say that there is an aspect of you that is Lyran. Like I said, when I tap into people's higher selves, I'm just tapping into an aspect of their higher self. If I was to see the whole higher self, it would just basically be light, meaning that it is the all, because we are the all. So although you are the all, you know, you are everyone and everything, the aspect that I believe that you are working with at this time, the aspect that is you at this time, is that Lyran portion of you. And it was like seeing how lions have their pride, you know, their groups that they hang in, and it's like this balance that you're trying to find with yourself of like wanting to find like a group that I feel like I belong with, but at the same time, like I really prefer my solitude, and sometimes I just want to be alone, and sometimes it's like a little too extra when I'm around a lot of people, and you know, so not ever wanting to feel like tied down, so to speak, like no matter what it is, whether it's a job or relationship, friendship, it's just this like I need to feel like I'm free to do what I want to do without feeling hindered. And at the same time, sometimes I want to be with a group, but sometimes I want to be alone. So it's kind of like this back and forth. But let me just pull a card as well, just to kind of to clarify. All righty. Susie's saying thank you. Okay. Oh, rose-colored glasses. Dude, I love her outfit and I would totally rock that. It says idealism, denial, ignoring problems. I don't really go with those keywords. I kind of go with the images here. Oh, you know what I just noticed in the image? Check out the kitty cats. What like better confirmation could we have? Because I guarantee you, in all of these cards, I think this is the only card with a cat on it. So, I mean, wow. And then the rose-colored glasses, I do feel like this is, this Lyran portion of you is definitely connected to that heart space, like how you feel into relationships, how you feel into your creative nature, the things that you love, the things that really light you up, is through the lens of your Lyran self, that aspect of you of like, does this suit my independence, but at the same time kind of wanting to be with people, but at the same time kind of not wanting to be with people, wanting to feel connection, but still wanting to have my own freedom, kind of thing. So it's this like, kind of walking that line in between, much like cats do, walking that balance on the fence of like, I could go in this yard or I could go in this yard, but I have the freedom to do whatever I want. So I love that. And I feel like that's, for right now, that's how you're intuiting is right here through the Lyran heart. So I hope that helps. Oh, hey, 9/11. And as I look at the live chat, it's at 1:11, an hour and 11 minutes. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Chandra said, this year is going to be a year of restoration and reconciliation for me. The new Chandra is rising. I claim it, universe. Heck yeah, you're the Phoenix. I feel it for everybody. I've been feeling that too. I'm like, Phoenix energy. Lily said 12/12 on her end. Freaking awesome. Okay, so next we have our friend Lily. So we have Lily, John, and then Laura. All right, so Lily, John, and then Laura. All right, Lily. And by the way, Knowledge Harvester, thank you for allowing me to tap into your energy. It is beautiful, by the way. Okay, so Lily said, my daughter isn't doing well mentally. She's a Virgo and graduating high school and has a job. She's having a freak out. She's in so much pain and rage. It drains me energetically. How can I soothe her soul? Okay. All right. Let's take a look at that. And she tries. Okay. All right. And I know that around time of graduation for any high school student, because I taught high school for a good long while, about 14 and a half years, and or 15 years. Sorry, yeah, I taught high school for 15 years. And I had seniors, and I remember that it seemed like they were going through a dark night of the soul, because it definitely is such a huge transition, and they feel things more intensely because it's the realization that they're kind of leaving something that they've always done, which is go to school, be at home, I do this and that. And now it's like, it's like a feeling like they're not a kid anymore, but they don't feel like an adult quite yet, but also feeling all the pressures of what maybe an adult might feel. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to know how to do this and this and this. And at the same time, like, what is my relationship with my mother, with my father, with my friends? Like, and I'm not going to be able to see maybe all of my friends because my friends are all going off different places. So it's a huge kind of like snake shedding its skin time for children graduating high school, because they feel like they have the weight of the entire world on their shoulders. And yeah, it might come out in different ways of like rage or sadness or anxiety. And sometimes just like all they can do is laugh, because it's so much. It is a lot. And unfortunately, we don't teach in high school how to help understand all the things that we're feeling. But let's tap into her energy and let's see how we can best help her out, because ultimately this is her journey. She's going to have to try to learn to work with all of these things, that she's feeling at the moment, a variety of emotions, again, like how am I as a daughter to my parents? Like, how does that change? Does it change because now like I'm considered an adult, but I also like I miss my childhood, but at the same time, I can't wait to leave my childhood. I can't wait to be an adult, but at the same time, I am terrified of being an adult. And all the things that I worry about, and, worrying if I'm going to be successful. What's my life going to look like? What's going to happen when I don't have all of my friends around me anymore? Am I going to make new friends? Will these friends be cool? All of these things that they worry about, and they worry about, making their parents happy. But also, how do I make myself happy? So I was seeing like just offering a space really for her to vent, for her to feel just safe enough to express how she's feeling, because it's coming across as such a jumble within her, which is where I think all of the rage and, all of this is coming from, is because she doesn't actually understand how she feels at any given time. It's so many emotions at once. It's elation, it's fear, it's anger, it's anxiety, it's joy, it's everything at once. And I don't think she's ever felt all of this as strongly before, so she doesn't know what to do with it. So it's coming across as very angry, very rageful, because she's angry that she doesn't understand. I don't understand. Like, if you ask me, how am I feeling? I don't have an answer for you. I feel everything. I don't know. So it's really just allowing her a space to just feel, and not necessarily giving like advice saying, oh, well, when I was your age, I did this or that. She really just needs somebody to hear her, listen to her, like feel with her in these emotions, and help her to sort them out, because it's like a ball of yarn. I keep seeing like a really tangled ball of yarn, and she doesn't know where to begin. Like like I said, if you were to ask her what emotion you're feeling right now, she would probably say all of them. So you might start with like angry. Why are we feeling angry at the moment? And not really trying to tell her like you shouldn't be angry, but why? Like leading her with questions like, why do you feel or why do you think you feel angry at this moment? She might say, well, I feel angry because I don't like the change. Okay. Yeah. Change can be difficult. What don't you like about the change? And just kind of like leading her with these questions. So that way you're not telling her how she feels. You're not telling her how to feel, because she doesn't want to be told right now. She doesn't want to be told like, what is the best way to heal through things? What is all this? It doesn't feel like she wants that right now. She wants to feel independent in a way that she's figured it out herself, but you are that beautiful guiding force for her. Help her to figure it out herself. So leading her with the questions. So if you see that she's feeling a particular emotion, I see you're angry. Why do you feel anger? Well, I feel anger because of this. Okay, why do you feel anger with that? And so that way she's like, okay, I'm figuring it out myself, and it's not my mom that's figuring it out for me. Because that's another thing she's battling with, is she's got this strong independent streak right now. And it's like, also like with school and everything, we always tell the kids what to do, how to think, how to do things. And now that they're on their own and they have to think for themselves, it's like, wait, whoa. And it's just a lot. So I think helping her, kind of guiding these questions. And if she, says not right now, honor that as well, because she might be just saying, I don't want to lash out at you. And I don't know why I'm lashing out. I know I wouldn't be able to answer your questions at this time, but I really feel like that's definitely going to help. So let's pull a card on that. We have flight, and it says avoidant, ghosting, and escapism. So yeah, I definitely feel like this is allowing her to fly at this time, allowing her to go. Because she is trying to pull away. She is trying to have this like mega independence, but at the same time, and she probably won't say it, she needs that strong foundation. I need to know that no matter what happens or how angry I get or whatever happens, that I still have my family. I still have my mom. I still have these things. And that, you know, nothing is irreparable. That even if I said some things to you that I shouldn't, and maybe I made my mom really sad and really angry, it's still nice to know that she's never going to abandon me. So, and this is going to be uber helpful during, you know, like I said, this huge transition for her. So definitely try to walk her through her emotions without telling her how to feel or what she feels. She wants to be guided so that she feels like she did it herself. So, and that helps to give her the freedom that she is seeking. Okay, so let's go back here. So I hope that helps, Lily. I hope it helps. And then our buddy John. Hey. Let's see, John, we have your question here. Oh, Knowledge Harvester was wondering, this is tiger's teeth. No, this is a wolf tooth, actually a Mexican gray wolf. I found one of their skulls on my property. So this is the tooth, because they are endangered. So, you know, I'm trying to utilize all aspects of what I have found. And then after our friend John, we have our friend Laura, and we will definitely pull a card for Laura. Essence O is here. Hey. Lots of cool people coming in. I love you guys. Susie says, Chandra, my intuition tells me your child loves you and is connected to you in dreams. I'm sending you hugs and prayers for reunion with your child. Very, very nice. This is very painful. So sorry. Praying for your reunion. Definitely. And Knowledge Harvester, I will definitely pull a card for you as well. Chandra said her name is Thoriga, meaning painter's brush. Once a butterfly sat on my right shoulder and people around me said her name. It was in a different language. She used to pat me on my shoulder. Aw, that is so, so beautiful. Okay, so John says, I'd like a message from the black snake energy. Black snake and black moon are a repeating theme, and it seems fitting for this week. Ah, yes, it does. All right. Okay, so John, let's go ahead and pull that card. Let me have a little bit more tea. Black snake energy and the black moon. Okay. Because we are heading towards a dark moon. That is true. Okay, so John, I was seeing like two snakes kind of uncoiling, kind of like that Kundalini energy, one being like a white snake and one being a black snake. And yes, the band White Snake did pop into my mind, but focus. Okay, so with the black uncoiling snake and the white uncoiling snake, it's showing that one is an aspect of our light self and one being an aspect of our shadow self. And oftentimes we only focus on the white snake, which is like the Kundalini energy. It's attached to our transformation when it comes to our intuition, when it comes to our awakening process, when it comes to, you know, really feeling into our light energy, our positive polarity energy. And then the black snake being more that they work in tandem. So as our light body is evolving and changing, well, so is our shadow aspect in our shadow body. And so that means that we have an opportunity to witness shadows about ourselves, certain, we might say, more negative programming about ourselves, and even the negative polarity aspect of ourselves. Because yes, I do believe that we have all the polarities within us, positive, negative, and neutral. They're all in here, but we choose what energy we want to be in. We choose if we want to be a positive polarity, we want to be negative polarity. So everything grows at an equal rate. So as your positive polarity self has been growing and evolving, well, so has your negative polarity self. It has also been growing and evolving. And eventually, when you recognize the two, the light snake and the dark snake, and realize that both halves of them are you, then you have a total understanding of not only your negative polarity self, but also your positive polarity self. And that's where we come into union with ourselves. And that's where like the big, like mind-blowing, I am all aspects. I totally accept and I'm willing to accept that I am also darkness. I am also negative polarity, but I also understand that I am positive polarity. I am the lightness, and that the light is what I choose, while understanding what I could be capable of in this negative polarity aspect. So I don't see either snake as like the good snake and the bad snake. They're just energies that we have, and we choose the energy that we are most aligned with. Some of us choose the energy of the dark snake, and that's, we need that on this planet, because we need mirrors for each other. How would we even know what a negative polarity is if we didn't witness them in our reality? So it's understanding that all of that is within you. So I do see this like both are uncoiling at the same time, and understand that as you're growing in one, you're also growing in the other. And so let's look at the ways in which it is growing. How is it evolving, and how is it evolving along with my light body? Very interesting. So it's a very introspective energy, and it's looking into the new shadows that are coming to the surface, like the new aspects of the darker self that we might shy away from because we're like, oh, that's kind of creepy. I would never do that. Of course, you're not choosing that polarity, but we definitely want to look into that polarity. I want to understand how it operates. How does it think? How does it work? So that when I'm making choices in my everyday life, I'm very cognizant who's in control. Like, is it my positive polarity self making this decision at this time, or is this my negative polarity self? And the only way to understand that is to be open to the understanding that that is also a part of me, even if I don't choose it. So let's pull a card on that. Oh, heck yeah. It's the twin flame card. What did I say? The light snake and the dark snake. And they're kind of even wearing light pants and dark pants. Holy shit. That is so cool. And mirroring, I even talked about mirroring. There's a freaking mirror in there. And the fire, I was talking about Kundalini energy. So yeah, John, you are ready for this next level for yourself. And it's being able to look into the parts of the self that, you don't maybe agree with, you don't align with, but it's still a part of you. And it has been growing just as fast as your light self has been growing. And it's just the acceptance in that and understanding how it operates, how it thinks, like I said, so that you can make choices that are more in alignment with the polarity that you choose every single day. So I hope that makes sense. Knowledge Harvester says, I'll be replaying that part. She channeled me all day now, wondering about it. I'm now even more curious than before. Lily says, that's what I've been doing. Tarot confirmation. It's so draining. I have to take a nap after a freak out. She keeps saying it's so hard and she's not supposed to be alive and doesn't want to be here, which is scary. Yeah, I totally understand, because like I said, I've had students that were in that place, that it does feel very dark. But the fact that she's expressing this to you is because she doesn't actually want to act on any of those things, but she feels comfortable enough to allow you to hear all of that that she's feeling. And so I do understand that it is draining. Definitely take out time for yourself to ground and, restore your energy. But trust me, this is definitely helping her, because sometimes we do have dark thoughts and we might feel afraid to express those dark thoughts to other people for fear of what they may think about us. But the fact that she's expressing those things that may seem very scary to you, yes, but she's expressing them because she just needs to get it out. Like I said, I don't feel that she actually wants to harm herself in any way. It's just what she's really trying to say is, I don't know how to deal with all of these things. So it's like, if this were a video game, I just want to do over. So she's waiting. She wants to be in the part where this doesn't feel so confusing anymore. It doesn't feel so burdensome anymore. So she's not really wanting to, like I said, harm herself. She's really wanting to just get to the part where it's just not so difficult anymore. But you helping her to keep this line of communication open is the best thing. And I totally, I think that this is wonderful for her. Yeah, this is amazing. And if she's open to it, you might even suggest a counselor as well. Just like, the kids, they have counselors at school, but this may be like a better counselor, not just like a guidance counselor, but one that can also help her, that she feels comfortable with. Of course, if she's closed off to the idea, then, at least you put it out there, but also you are an open channel for her. And I think that is really helping her out. John says, also a cobra on your shirt. Yes. Chandra says, John, I welcome you to my place, and there's a spiritual ceremony happening for a snake next week, and you can see a cobra coming to a temple. Ah, very nice. Chandra said, I'm on a twin flame journey. Someone told me. I'm trying to understand that. Ah, interesting. And John says, I'm in the central USA, so I don't think I can physically be there, but I can definitely tap in energetically. Wonderful. Okay, so let's go back to our friends here. Thank you for those who have allowed me to read for them so far, but we have our friend Laura next, and then Knowledge Harvester again. So Laura said, sorry, this isn't much, but if I'd like to know about it, Felipe and me romantically, anything, feelings, etc. Sorry, that's all I can donate as a student. Hey, no worries. Like I said, it's not about the money. It's just the energy exchange. That's all. So I'm not I'm not looking for any sort of like dollar amount or anything. Okay. You and Felipe. Laura and Felipe. Okay. There was like a movie that popped into my head when I was tapping into the energy of the two of you. And it's that movie Cruel Intentions, kind of an old movie. And not just because it had Ryan Felipe in it. But it's not the plot of the movie that I was focused on, because that's definitely not what's going on with you two. But more the confusion in the movie, where the main character, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's like I said, it's like an old 90s movie. But the main character was having some conflicting feelings. There was a girl that he had a crush on that he really liked. And the conflicting feelings came because there was this other person who had a kind of stronghold in his life. Technically, it was his half sister, which makes it really like kind of creepy, or maybe his stepsister. It was, anyway, that was all weird. But not that there is another person, but it's more the feelings that he had. He has been in so many, I might say, like dysfunctional type relationships, kind of like in the movie, there's a dysfunctional relationship between the like half brother and half sister. But having been in those like kind of relationships, and then you being a very different type of energy, he's having confusing feelings. It's like there are the parts of you and the aspects of you that he really enjoys. You know, it's so different, and it makes him feel different about himself. He sees things differently, but at the same time, because it's so different, he shies away from it. He gets a little nervous, a little scared. It's like, you know, you are so different than the other people I've known or that I've been with, and I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. So he doesn't know what to do with all of this. So it's the, you know, I really like her. I really like a lot of the things about her, but there are some things that I don't have any experience in my relationship history that I can connect with her on, because all of my relationships were all kind of a certain way, especially the relationships that I had with my own family, which kind of dictated my romantic relationships. Because they were all a particular way and you're a little bit different, he's having a hard time making that connection because it's new. And think about it with ourselves. Oh, sorry. There we go. Anytime we try something new, there's always going to be like some fear of like, oh, I don't know, this is different. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Like, I don't know. And so we might be more hesitant. We might just not be like, woohoo, new thing. I mean, some of us are, and hey, more power to you. I'm not one of those people. I'm more like a cautious, like, okay, I guess we're taking the leap, but you know, let me just make sure I have everything in place. That's how I feel that he's feeling about you. It's, you know, he's being very cautious because you are so different, but different in a good way, because it's breaking a pattern, a romantic pattern that he's had with other people. So let's pull a card on that as well. Laura said, he said, I have a different aura. Yes, that definitely connects like what I'm feeling with him. Oh, we have date night. So Laura, yes, there is romantic feelings for you. There is romance for you. But like I said, he's very cautious at the moment. He could go either way. He has a free will. He has free will choice. And all timelines exist. You know, we have infinite number of timelines. So there could be timelines where he decides to go ahead and pursue you. There are timelines where he's going to decide not to. But do understand that he does have romantic feelings for you. He does really enjoy you. There are so many parts of you that he is so fascinated with, that he's enamored with, that he's like, oh my gosh, this girl is amazing. You know, she's wonderful. But at the same time, she's so different that I'm afraid that it could get screwed up, because I don't know how to work with that different type of energy. I'm not accustomed to it. I'm accustomed to different types of people, you know, and she's definitely different than that, but in a good way. And so it can be very scary for him. It is definitely like the Fool card in tarot. It's taking that fool's leap. And that's really up to him, you know, at this point, which way he's going to go with that. But like I said, what happened earlier really brought up some feelings for him about his past relationships, about himself in those past relationships, himself connected to his family and things like that. So it was actually kind of good. I know there's light and shadow and light, but it was kind of good that what happened, so that he has this time to reflect while he's traveling. He needs this space. He really does, so that he can figure out what he wants to do moving forward. And he needs the freedom to be able to do that right now. It's like, she's a wonderful person, but she is very different than I'm used to. Do I go for it, even though it feels very scary to me? Or do I go back to what I know? And that's what he's dealing with right now. So Laura said, thank you. You are very welcome. Very, very welcome. Wow, you guys are having so many wonderful conversations in here. And so many awesome people entering the chat. Hey. Okay, and so I believe our last card is Knowledge Harvester. Knowledge Harvester says, I'm shocked. You're so spot on about, whoa, the chat like went fast forward. So spot on about everything on me. I am that exactly person you described. I feel loved right now. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Very, very welcome. So thank you. Thank you. I mean, you did do a donation. So if you want me to pull another card for you, maybe I could just pull one from your higher self if you'd like. Or yeah, if you had another question, but yeah, thanks. Thanks. Let's see. Laura is taking a rose bath. That sounds amazing. Amazing. This is trying to manifest the best. Well, definitely surrounding yourself in that love energy, love for self, love in your aura. Love attracts love. Lily says, gotta run, Tara. Thank you. Have a great day. I will watch the replay. Much love and respect. Chat, be well. Lily, lots of love to you as well. Laura said, based on your feelings, do you think it's going towards the getting it or not? I just kind of like, based on his energy, it's kind of like in the middle. So it's where he's probably going to take some space from you for a little while. I know that doesn't feel good, but I do feel like there will be contact again. And it's in that contact that he has with you again, where you guys can actually speak. That just like with we were talking with our other friend, allowing space for her daughter to just kind of like speak. If you allow him to the space in this next conversation that you have, even if the conversation is a little ways out from now, allow him to express himself, to speak, maybe even share the things that he's very nervous about, or that he doesn't understand, and then you speak on it. I feel like allowing that has a greater chance of you guys moving forward together than if there's no communication, where maybe you guys talk, but nothing is really said, if that makes sense, where basically just like with our other friend, the mom and her daughter, if you allow him to speak in a way where you're guiding him with questions so that it feels like he feels like he's in control, like, oh, I've come to this conclusion myself, but you're kind of guiding him with questions, then he's more apt to understand how he feels, and he's more apt to move forward with you. So I hope that makes sense. John says, Chandra, is this something that gets streamed or kept private for locals? And Laura's saying, sounds like what I do. Well then, hey, it's right on point with your personality anyways, so it works. This is, OMG, such a big woman move. I mean, heck yeah, you are stepping into your womanhood. Amazing. This is always makes men think it's their idea. I know, right? Where it's like, they're like, I want to watch this movie. Yeah, because what do you think of Wolverine? Well, because Wolverine's a badass. We should totally watch X-Men. We should totally watch X-Men. Yes, we got it. We got it. Mike says, great reading. Yeah, thank you guys for allowing me to pull these cards for you. Now, let's get into some snake energy, and then let's get into our guided meditation. And I'll try to change it up a little bit so that I can try to incorporate more of the senses, since I know that not everybody's visual like myself. Actually, I like that got brought to my attention, because I realize all of my meditations are based on visualization, because that's how I do meditations. But I like the idea of like, let's incorporate some other things. Laura said, yes, thank you, love. Lots of love. Lots of love to you too, my friend. I am sending you lots of good love, Juju. I hope you enjoy your rose bath. John's like, we really are that simple. Oh my goodness. Well, I think human beings in general, we're complicatedly simple. I know it's an oxymoron, but I think that's the best way I think we can describe our human nature. We're complicatedly simple. Susie says, thank you for all of your questions and donations today, and just being here in the community. Yes, yes. Thank you so, so very much. Okay, I want to talk about snake energy and working with it, how you guys can work with it. Of course, you guys can work with it by wearing snake stuff if you wanted to. Like I said, I got some coral snakes here, which are plentiful in the desert. I also have my, well, on my boo-boo hand, I have my snake ring in sterling silver, and it has the two snakes on it, the light and the shadow, which is kind of cool. I also have my 3 scale necklace, and it has the snake kind of interwoven into it. Of course, I have my Cobra Kai shirt. I have my little snake stuffy, you know, just kind of bringing in that snake energy, that Lunar New Year snake energy, but also just the energy of snake in general, because I do feel that this is a shedding of the old us, but honoring it, like we were talking about with Chandra. And so, yeah, we can have these representations around us. I know he looks like a worm, though. I can't help it that he's like a little worm. But I also have other things like stones, like serpentine, which often looks like a snake skin. But yeah, I have this beautiful serpentine crystal. You guys can work with that if you have serpentine laying around. But remember, you never need the physical item. Just like John was talking about, he can tap into things energetically. We're energy beings. I know that we have like a physical vessel that is inhabiting, or I mean, that is containing or holding much of that energy. Not all of it, because we have an aura, it kind of like spills out. Can't really hold onto energy, but it's in us, it's around us, which means that we can tap into anything energetically. You know, there's an energy, there's an aura that's around this, and we can tap into this at any time. Susie's like, "Aw, I'm in love with this stuffy Stevie snake." Chandra said, "John, can you drop me an email and I can send you some videos, plus when a ritual is done in your name." Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. You guys are so amazing. I also have my viper mug. So, you know, nice little viper snake here. I like to collect snake skin for some of the like rituals and meditations that I do whenever I'm doing anything about transformation, release, honoring the old, bringing in the new. Understanding that I walk a line between light and shadow, that, you know, my actions could sometimes be hurtful, but sometimes they can be healing, just depending on what light and shadow aspect is me moving forward. You know, I can't say what character I play in everybody's reality. And I think that that is the understanding of snake, that depending on our reality or our view of a situation, we might say, "Ooh, that was like an evil person or a bad person and they hurt me," or, "Wow, that person was really healing. That person was like my medicine," you know, and we play this role. That's why we have this negative and positive polarity within us. We have this light and shadow within us. We can't control how others perceive us. So even though I think that sometimes we try our best to like put our best foot forward, I want people to like me, you know, I want, you know, all of this, we can't really control that, because we can't control other people. They have free will just like we have free will. So all we can do really is to choose our polarity, do the best we can, whatever role we play in somebody else's reality, whether it's, you know, the angel or the devil, the light, the dark, the evil, the good, it's meant for their growth and their journey. And all we can do is like release, just like releasing that snake skin and saying, "Hey, if I needed to be the bad guy in that person's reality for their healing, then I'm going to be the bad guy. You know, I'll gladly take that label. If this person needs me to be the good guy in their reality, you know, I'll take that label, because I can't make them see me as the character I want them to see me as. All I can do is release my hands and be like, you know, just like the snake. You want to see me as the good guy? You want to see me as the bad guy? But I know that I need to be that for that person's journey, for their best and highest good. So that's kind of what I think when I think into like snake energy. Susie said snake medicine. Yes. And John says, "Do you have any other social media I can private message you on?" Oh, I'm so glad you guys are becoming friends. This is wonderful. Knowledge Harvester says, "So I'm like mixed, amazing. When you tapped in, I felt you connecting to me. It was beautiful. And your energy is very positive and happy." Well, thank you. Thank you. And yes, you are. Yeah. So when, well, just like snake energy, just like I'm talking about right now, everything is a mixture, like all of our energies. Even though when I tap into my higher self, I say that I'm a blue avian, but I know that's not all I am. It's just an aspect of me. So an aspect of me is just like this really cool, like badass blue avian. But I'm also everyone else. I'm also the Lyran. I'm also the Andromedan. I'm also the Gray. I'm also the Arcturian and the Pleiadian. I'm also the light. I'm also the shadow. I am the all. I am source. And that is you too. So you are like a mixture of everyone and everything. And depending on where you are in your journey, knowledge harvester, you embrace a different aspects. So this portion of your journey, what you need to embrace right now is your Lyran self. I totally see that. And maybe it'll be your Lyran self for years to come. But, if your journey changes, then you're going to be accessing a different aspect of you. And it doesn't mean that the Lyran part of you isn't still there. It can never leave you. It's always going to be with you. It just may not be the prominent energy at the time. And so I feel like that's how our energy is always morphing and shaping. When one person taps in, they might say, oh, wow, I see Arcturian energy. If I tap in, I see Lyran energy. But that's just because that's my perspective, and that's that other person's perspective. But it doesn't mean anybody's right or wrong. It just means we're all seeing different aspects of you. So I hope that helps. Susie says, many of us have made great friendships through KWT. This is beautiful, Chandra and John. Yes, this is so cool. And thank you so much, Knowledge Harvester. This is amazing. Thank you. Okay, so in here, I have a little snake skin. You can even see like the skin actually came off his eyeballs too. I don't know how that's possible, but I found this when I was out hiking with James. Part of that, it's in Phoenix, but it was kind of out in the wilderness, and I wonder if it's still okay to take my snake skin out of here. I just don't want him to fall apart because he's pretty cool. Okay. But here we go. This was like a perfect like snake skin. Like I said, he's got his eyeballs, he's got his face. You can see like every bit of him, even the tail. You can tell this was a rattlesnake as well because of the end of the tail, which is kind of cool. Like you can even see the mouth, like this is the bit of the mouth here. So yeah, I like to put it on my altar and work with it. For now, it just kind of stays within this like little jar just to kind of keep it from disintegrating, as things are wont to do. Nothing lasts forever, as they say. So I just kind of keep him in there. But yeah, this just reminds me that I am continually shedding my skin, much like this snake, and that nothing ever lasts forever, and sometimes we can look at that as like the shadow side of like, oh, that means nothing good lasts forever, but nothing bad lasts forever either. So everything is just a continual cycle of death and rebirth. So when it comes to working with snake energy, I have a few books that if you guys, for my little bookworms out there, if you want to look into, check out Animal Speak. And this is by Ted Andrews. He's passed on into spirit, but man, was he a wonderful like speaker for the animal, helping us to connect to our animal kin. Just like our friend was talking about connecting to crows and talking to crows. I think this is going to be a good read for you. I highly recommend this book for you, so definitely go check it out. Chandra Satara, if you are coming to South India, let me know. I could be your host, though I know you must be having so many friends. Hey, I mean, heck yeah. Like I said, if I ever make it out to India, I'm coming to like visit everybody. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's up? Like, show me around, yeah, I would definitely let you know. And you could always drop me a line on Instagram at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, or my email, tara@kittensweightsandtarot.com. So yeah, check it out. And the links are down below just in case. John says, but also since time doesn't really exist, everything does last forever. Aha. You do got me there, John. You do have me there. Okay, so in this book, Ted Ted Andrews speaks a little bit on snake. He also talks about like different ceremonies you can do and connecting with your animal totem, which is more of like a Native American way of connecting with animals. You don't have to do it that way, but it's interesting. So he has this whole section on snake, and of course, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I do want to read a portion of it regarding snake, and actually, it's like 3 pages on snake. But okay. So it says the keynote, snake is connected to rebirth, resurrection, initiation, and wisdom. Knowledge Harvester said snake bites. Luckily, I've never been bit by a snake, but I have handled many a rattlesnake, because rattlesnakes do come out here in the winter time, not winter, summertime, not so much winter, it's too cold, but which is nice. But every once in a while, I gotta pick them up on a pole and I gotta put them down at the bottom of the hill, and I'm like, don't come up here. It says, of all the reptiles and maybe even all animals, the snake has been the subject of great controversy and paradox. Religious sources argue over whether it is the symbol of the higher or the lower, sometimes seen as devil and sometimes seen as healer. It is an animal that truly has earned the mythical reputation. In the Americas, the snake served as a prominent symbol in art and lore. To the Native Americans, the snake is a symbol of transformation and healing. Snake ceremonies involved learning to transmute the poisons within the body after being bitten multiple times. You guys were just talking about snake bites. Survival of this would then enable the individual to transmute all poisons, physical or otherwise. It activated the energy of kill or cure, ultimately leading to dramatic healings. Okay, so it says in lunar astrology, haha, year of the snake. One of every 12 years is named for the snake. Those born within that year are believed to have the qualities of compassion, clairvoyance, and charm. They usually need to learn lessons associated with forgiveness, superstitiousness, and possessiveness as well. A study of lunar astrology will help you with this. Other parts here. Because it sheds its skin, the snake has long been a symbol of death and rebirth. It sheds its skin as it outgrows the old. This death and rebirth cycle is part of what snakes represent. It has ties and significance to the ancient alchemists and their symbolic transmutation of lead into gold. This is associated with higher wisdom that comes with the passing of time. This cycle of death and rebirth is often symbolized by the Ouroboros, the ancient image of a snake swallowing its own tail. It is the symbol of eternity, just like John was speaking about, as time doesn't exist, therefore everything is forever, all at once. Before the snake begins to shed its skin, its eyes will begin to cloud over. It gives the snake a trance-like appearance. To many mystics and shamans, this indicated the ability of the snake to move between the realms of the living and the dead, of crossing over from life to death and then back to life again. As the skin begins to shed, the eyes begin to clear as if they will see the world anew. For this reason, alchemists have believed that wisdom and new knowledge would lead to death and rebirth, enabling the individual to see the world from an entirely new perspective. So he has a lot more that he wrote on snake, but I think those are kind of like the main takeaways. And, yeah, like I said, it all depends on our perspective. Do we see snakes as like an evil thing, a bad thing, a good thing, a healer, a destroyer? It all depends on our perspective, but that's also how people perceive us. Sometimes we're, like we said, we are the healer or we are the destroyer in somebody else's story, but we have to accept that we have to accept that we have this light and shadow within us. And even though we may try our best to be good people, to be in our positive polarity, we can't control how the outside world views us or what character we play in their world. We have to just accept that we are the character that we are meant to be for that person's growth and healing. And that is the ultimate service to others. Energy that is embracing the positive polarity, understanding that we have to be both polarities in other people's worlds because it's going to help them. So Knowledge Harvester says, yes, it's weird how some people see more snakes while others never see them. Yes, and that's definitely something to meditate on as well. Susie said, chills, powerful. And Chandra said, snakes in the Hindu tradition plays a very key role. Interesting. Well, do share. Okay, I have another book, again, for my bookworms. If you want to check this one out, this is called The Illustrated Signs and Symbols Source Book, an A to Z compendium of over 1,000 designs. This is by Adele Nozadar. And this just like has all kinds of stuff in here, just like everything from like learning about runes to mistletoe to insects to, just everything. Okay, so there is a section here on the serpent. Ta-da! Okay, let's look at what it has to say. Wow, this one has a lot on serpent as well, but let's just read a couple of bits here. It says, lying on its belly close to the earth, limbless, hairless, and cold-blooded, the snake represents the opposite end of the scale to the loftier spiritual heights to which man aspires. The snake or serpent is arguably one of the most prominent animal symbols and carries with it diverse and contradictory meanings. Did you know? Let's go here. The hair of the goddess Medusa, which was made of snakes, was originally a sign of her immortality, wisdom, and sacredness. It was only when the dominant power shifted from maternal to paternal that she became an object of dread, and she became the Gorgon. So yes, even in Greek mythology, Medusa, who we always see as like the bad guy because she's got snakes on her head, she like people who look at her, they turn to stone. She's like, Athena had to come in and basically, chop off her head. Athena having the head of Medusa on her shield, and oftentimes being surrounded by snakes, also to show that she is like the destroyer of evil, but also snake being the medicine that we need. But anyway, so when the energy shifted from, moving more from like divine feminine energy into the divine masculine energy, it also shifted the story. So what was seen as a good guy in one person's story is now the bad guy in another person's story. And so that's like what I was just talking about, the roles we play. And so she became the Medusa that we know today as like this like snake-headed crazy lady, where before it was that she was like, like I live in the world between life and death. Like I know all things. I'm super wise. And it was just a changeover. Okay, one more thing. It says evidence of the godlike statues of the snake to the Native Americans too is evident in structures such as the 4,000-year-old Serpent Mound in Ohio. So any of my Ohio friends in here, I wonder if you've ever gone to go see it. To Native Americans, the snake was a dangerous creature which deserved respect at the same time as suspicion. In fact, such was the reputation of the snake for telling lies and weaving deceit that the forked tongue of the creature was adopted as a description fitted to untrustworthy people, namely the people that came to conquer them. But like I was just saying, it's used in a lot of Native American tradition to help us to find our own healing power within, so we can see that, it could be dangerous, but it could also teach us our greatest strengths and our greatest healing powers. So nothing is ever like purely evil where I never want to understand it. There's light and shadow, and there's shadow and light. So yeah. Susie says knowledge, no problem. So yeah, I think that is a good book if you guys want to check it out. And the final book is The Encyclopedia of Goddesses and Heroines by Patricia Monaghan, PhD. And there are quite a few goddesses in history that are connected to snakes. So I don't know if in your practice during this Lunar New Year, or maybe during this whole year, if you want to incorporate any of these goddesses, or at least their energy, or find that aspect of you in them, and you can incorporate that during this time. But let's look at Mamiwata. Okay, so Mamiwata, which is an African goddess, is a relatively new goddess. She is in the form of the water goddess honored across coastal and Western Africa. Her worship especially thrives in areas of cultural exchange, as in ports and cities. She is typically depicted as as of foreign origin, and her name is a version of the English for Mother of Waters. She has been described as a hybridized goddess connecting indigenous with the imported or foreign influences. So often her depiction is being like half snake or half serpent of some sort, and it's just to show like just like the waters, you know, you can't contain them, they're always changing, but just like snakes, always like changing, always shifting, always shedding its skin. So that's one goddess you guys could look into. Another goddess to look into is, hold on. I found it here before. I wonder if this is, here we go. This is one of the Egyptian goddesses, Meretseger. As a benevolent and punishing by turns, Meretseger was shown as a coiled snake with 3 heads, one head being a snake, one head being a human, and one head being a vulture, or as a snake with a human head. So you might see that depicted on sometimes the like the jewelry and things that the pharaohs may wear, having like the many heads. So you have like the 3 heads, but also could be seen as like the triple goddess as well, you know, where we think of, you know, the snake, death and rebirth, but we also have the human self. So it's like our 3D self, our earthly being. And then we have the vulture, which is like connected to spirit, because the vulture, what takes away? It takes away the physical body so that the spirit may be set free. So it's like the 3 embodiments of the self. So you have you have the soul, you have the physical self, and then you have the what lies in between, which is life and death, basically. So another goddess to perhaps look into. And another one, yes, no, wait, that one's the scorpion goddess, which I also love. Okay, no, it's the Wajet. So if you think about like pharaohs and their headdresses, how it had like the snake kind of coming out of the headdress, that is the Wajet, but also seen as a vulture as well. So it says the vulture goddess of Lower Egypt and the Nile Delta, she joined with Nekhbet to form the 2 mistresses of the land of Nebti. And it's a symbol of the Egyptian unification. Inscriptions called her the Great Enchantress. She was associated with the snake crown, symbol of sovereignty, as Weret Haka, great of magic. She had oracle powers. Thus, she figured into funeral scenes and prayers. The Greeks called her Buto after one of her shrines. So you can definitely see like the snake kind of like riding the line in between this like light and shadow and all of these goddesses. Where's this one? Okay. This one is from the Hindu and Buddhist pantheon of India, Nepal, and Tibet. I wanted to make sure that I found one for, because our friend Chandra was talking about snakes being very prominent in Indian culture as well. But this is just one of them. Obviously, there's going to be a variety of things, but this is Manase. The worship of Manase, daughter of Kandru, remains strong in Bengal, where she is honored as a goddess of prosperity and protector against snake bite. Her connection to wealth may derive from the reemergence of snakes at the beginning of the growing season. She has the power to bring the dead back to life, as snakes apparently revivify when they shed their skin. So there's a whole story on her as well, in connection with like Shiva and the lotus blossom and everything. It's a fantastic read if you're wanting to look into that as well. Let's see. And then there's one more. I already talked about Athena, but I wanted to talk about Medusa a little bit more as well. Okay, Medusa was pre-Olympian, with her legend dating back from the 8th and 7th centuries. Her name means queen, a title often used of the primary female divinity. By historical times, she had been converted into the daughter of Crito, or Quito. who took Poseidon as a lover. Once the pair made love in a shrine of Athena, the goddess turned Medusa into the snake-haired Gorgon, later emerging, re-engineering Medusa's murder by sending Perseus to decapitate her. He had to be especially equipped because Medusa's glance turned living beings to stone, so Perseus carried a mirror. Looking into it, he saw Medusa's reflection and struck off her head. But remember that that is the myth that came later on, where at the beginning, like we said, that she's pre-Olympian, where before she was a sign of like wisdom and, you know, eternity and things like that. So it's just the later stories. Yeah, so there's a whole spiel on that. But yeah, definitely a good book if you want to take a look at some gods or some goddesses. So yeah, definitely, like I said, different ways to work with it. You can incorporate that energy through these goddesses or gods, you know, in your practice, realizing they are aspects of you and that they are just aspects of snake, you know, energy. You could work with it through crystals, finding, you know, actual shed skin, you know, and maybe even looking at it in yourself, in your meditations, how we shed, you know, these things. So for today's guided meditation, as we like leave here today, I want to tap into kind of that shedding of that self, and also connecting to the aspect of self that we most vibe with at this time. Like our friend Knowledge Harvester was wondering, you know, am I Lyran? You know, and like I said, we are all things, but it's like, what aspect are we connecting to at this time? Just like maybe all of us are connecting to snake energy at this time, but we'll see, you know, in our guided meditation. So I want this meditation to be not only of release, honor and release, you know, what no longer serves us, but honoring it because it did serve us at one time, being open to new possibilities, and also looking into the aspect of ourselves that we're most connecting to. So maybe you are, like I said, connecting to snake energy. Maybe you're connecting to the vulture part of you at this time. Maybe you're connecting to the more human part of you at this time. Maybe you're connecting to the Arcturian part of you at this time, or the Lyran part of you. But I'll leave that up to you during your meditation. I encourage you to either tap in visually for this meditation. If you would like to light some incense, think of incense that makes you feel, or like a scent. It could be a perfume or a cologne, anything that makes you feel like a newer version of yourself. It could be a fresh scent, it could be a musky scent, but just anything that's like, I feel like I'm transmuting, like I'm new. And so you can do the same for your other senses. Any sound that you want to play at this time, it could be music, anything that seems transformational. For me, that would be Lindsay Sterling. I would listen to her violin like all day. If there's something that you want to hold that definitely feels transformational, maybe silky or something like that. But try to incorporate different senses. See what works for you during this meditation and see what comes through. And after the meditation, over on Instagram or email, if you want to let me know how this chat went for you today, how the meditation went for you. I love hearing feedback. So I love that. I love that. And yeah, and thank you to everybody who's emailed me already about being a guest interviewer for the channeling series. So excited. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., we have a channeling coming out about clones. And my friend Kelly Bryn actually helped out with that channeling. So definitely check it out, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or sorry, Mountain Standard Time, which is 7 Pacific and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There we go. I think I got the time zones. And I believe it's Central Time is 9 o'clock. So, all righty. Lucy is here. Hey, how are you? Okay, so let's go into that guided meditation. Let me have a little bit more tea. And then I'm going to move out of the way so that you can actually maybe see the beautiful background there. Not like stare at me the whole time for the meditation. I love how this mug just keeps everything so hot. Okay, I'm moving out of the way. Moving out of the way, you guys. Okay, and then there we go. All right, go ahead and find yourself a nice, comfortable space. A place that will not be disturbed for the next several minutes. You could be lying on your bed, sitting in a chair, perhaps sitting on a cushion on the floor, or lying under a tree. Any place that feels comfortable for you. And as you get yourself nice and settled in, I want you to place your awareness with your breath. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Feeling the breath as it enters in through your mouth, down the throat, into the lungs, perhaps radiating down into your diaphragm, all the way down to your tippy toes. And as you breathe out, where you might be feeling that breath, that old breath exiting from deep down in the body, up from the lungs and back out past your lips. And in this beautiful breath, in and out, we can see the life and death process that occurs in every single breath we take. We breathe in the new and we exhale what no longer serves us. Every new beginning coming from some other beginning's end. The beautiful representation of the Ouroboros, the breath that gives us life for a time, and then we release, making room for a new breath, a new release. Both equally as powerful, equally as needed. We need that inhale just as much as we need that exhale. We need these new experiences just as much as we need to release the old experiences. These old versions of ourselves, these old beliefs, old ways of being, but knowing that at one time, they were everything that we needed. But now we bring in the new. It is time for us to shed our skin. So at this time, we visualize, perhaps while bringing in our other senses, the things that we feel or hear or smell, to bring us into this place of awareness of having two bowls in front of us, filled with water. Water being the symbol of our essence, transmutation. And in one bowl, we have the new breath coming in. We have the new you, the new beliefs, the new experiences, all the new skills and revelations. And in the other bowl, we have the you that is ready to be released, ready to be honored and shown gratitude and love for everything it helped you to do to get to this point here, this beautiful point here in meditation. And so I want you to look into the bowl that is going to be the releasing of you. And I want you to look into the water. Look into that image. And you may recognize yourself, but you may notice that it's also like looking at a photograph from years ago. It's you, but also it isn't you anymore. And I really want you to look into this image. What is coming up for you? What do you feel? What memories are coming to mind? And if you feel an emotional release coming through, please don't stifle it. Allow it to come through. Look at that beautiful image in the water. That person served you for a long time. In fact, you called in that person a long time ago. You needed their strength. You needed their energy. You needed what they knew at that time. You needed their knowledge. You needed their skills. And we can thank them now, showing gratitude and honor. And perhaps the image that you see in the water doesn't look much like your physical human self, but might be a representation of an aspect of your higher self. Perhaps this is an aspect of your higher self that you are letting go at this time to bring in a new aspect of your higher self. So perhaps you see the Lyran or the Arcturian. Maybe you see the dinosaur. Maybe you see a tree, an ant. But as you look at this image, I want you to send it all the love that you can muster and thank it for bringing you here. And when you are ready, I want you to pour that bowl out, releasing it. Allow it to mix and transmute into the world so that it may help others. Let it be born anew in something else, somewhere else, because it is needed in the world. So allow it to transmute, allow the waters to run down. And now go ahead and look into the other bowl and look down at your image. Perhaps it's your human self, perhaps another aspect of your higher self. But look at that person. And perhaps this person might be a little bit more difficult to recognize. You realize that it's you, but you look a little different. Not in a bad way, just different. And that is because this is the you that you are becoming. We have shed that old version of ourself while honoring that version of ourself, knowing that it forever lives in our heart, but doesn't have to live in our energy forever. And so we look into this water and we show gratitude and love for this person that we are becoming, this new cycle. And again, if you're feeling an emotion rising in the body, allow it to be free, allow it to come forward. This is the you that we are breathing in at this time, just like we release the breath of the old version of ourselves. We are shedding this skin. And so with this bowl, I want you to imbibe it, for we are drinking in this newer version of ourself. And yes, it will come with new adventures, new difficulties, new people, and new situations. But remember how scared you were last time this happened, but now how comfortable it's become. Well, it's time that we release that and we bring in the new once again. And you've already been through this process before. You know that it can be uncomfortable. You know that it can be a little scary at times, but it's also tremendously rewarding. And that you wouldn't be here if you hadn't done this many, many, many times before. This is nothing new to you. And so go ahead and drink in this water. Drink in this bowl. For this is you. Let it fill your being. See how it feels within the body. Perhaps a little different, but it's still you. And you know that at some point, it will become the status quo. It will feel like home. It will be what you are used to. So when you are ready, I want you to bring your awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. And you can have yourself a little stretch. All right. Yay! Okie dokie. Yay. Here I am. I'm coming back. I'm back. I'm back, Jack. All right, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed that guided meditation. I tried to incorporate some of the other senses into it. But yeah, I thank you guys for an amazing live chat today. I had so much fun with you guys. You had so many amazing messages, things that you guys talked about, all the different things going on in your lives. You know, I love that you can share everything, you know, whether you see it as positive, negative, you know, I mean, it's just our lives. You know, I don't see them as good or bad. So thank you for being vulnerable, sharing your messages. Those of you that pulled cards, brought down messages for the week, I thank you. Thank you to my mighty moderators, everybody who joined us, all of my subscribers, all of my new subscribers, and everybody who got a reading today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all so much. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope that you have a fantastic week, a fabulous Lunar New Year, and I hope that you embrace the snake, the snake energy in all its light and dark. And yeah, you guys know that you can always drop me a message, tarot@kittenswaitsandtarot.com. That link is down below, or over on the grams at Kittens, Waits, and Tarot. Especially, you know, if you want to be a guest interviewer for the channeling series. But yeah, we have the clones coming out tomorrow. John said, much love to the mods. Tyler says, thank you for the time spent today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Chandra. And Knowledge Harvester says, still curious, but the curiosity killed the cat. But the cat has 9 lives, eh? So anyway, thank you guys so much. Catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.